Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we are the Becks. So this week, it's very stormy here.
Yes, so if you hear thunder.
Mood thunder. For possibly the scariest movie we've ever watched.
Terrifying.
1972, The Frogs. Or no, it's not even called The Frogs. It's just called Frogs.
Yes, it's just frogs.
Frogs. So if you look at the Wikipedia page, the poster for it is like a little painted frog with a human hand sticking out of it. And it says, if you are squeamish, stay at home. 3 exclamation points. Cold green skin against soft, warm flesh. A croak. A scream. Frogs. So this movie stars Sam Elliott, who, if you know who that is, I hope you know who that is. He's so sexy.
Most women in the United States would know who he is, I would think, because, whew.
He's quite young in this movie. He doesn't have his patented mustache yet, which really threw me.
Yeah, he has dark hair.
Yeah, super, super young. He's kind of stoic throughout the whole movie. He's a wildlife photographer, and, he kind of falls in with this rich family.
Who basically plows him over in the lake with their boat.
Yeah.
Because, the opening scene is just him in a canoe taking pictures of, garbage and stuff floating in, what we assume is a river or a pond.
Yeah.
And then it leads him out to this big lake. And he ends up meeting these people who
have this hot rod speedboat.
And knock him out of his canoe.
Yeah. But, he doesn't, I don't think he has a ton of lines in this movie. Because, like I said, he's pretty stoic. There's so many other people in this movie that talk way more than he does.
Yeah.
But when he does talk, which, again, is very occasionally, and he usually has something poignant to say or some kind of lip to serve, You catch glimpses of the Sam Elliott
that we all know and love.
Drawl.
Yeah. Yeah, that sexy voice that he has.
Yeah. So this is probably one of his first movies.
I would think so.
So it was filmed in Florida. The rich family that he falls in with is the Crockett family, and they're super stupid rich. And when they hit him, it's Clint and Karen. Clint is like, oh my God, I didn't see you. Can I help you out of the water? And
you almost think that they know each other.
Yeah.
The way they interact.
Yeah, it's pretty familiar.
Yeah. But no, they didn't know each other.
But yeah, Pickett, Sam Elliott's character, he pulls Clint into the water with him, and Clint is very good-natured about this, though.
Yeah.
They eventually get into the boat, and they insist that Pickett come back to their house so they can get him some new clothes and whatever. And he meets the whole ass family.
Yeah, they're all there celebrating. Is it 4th of July?
Yeah, there's a bunch of birthdays that coincide with July, especially the patriarch's birthday, whose name is Jason Crockett. And he is wheelchair bound, and he's kind of a big asshole.
Yeah, he's a real jerk. I didn't like him from the beginning. He's just mean to everyone, to his family, to everyone. The staff he has at the summer home or whatever.
Which they're all black people. I think speaks to maybe the time. I don't know, if they were trying to say anything about race in this movie. It didn't really seem like it. But there was because one of the Crockett, it was Kenneth. They don't spend this movie has a huge cast, and you don't spend a lot of time getting to know everyone. That's why
and you skip around. It moves quickly and kind of confusingly.
Yeah. So Ken, who's one of the other Crockett's, one of the younger ones, his girlfriend is black.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous. She's got these hugely long, 70s eyelashes that are butterfly wings, and she's got this amazing fashion sense, and she's just gorgeous. Yeah. But it is, everyone kind of treats her, I don't want to say, like, it's not like they're rude to her, but she does seem like an outsider within the rest of the family. And I don't know if they did that on purpose. They probably did, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
You know, a couple of the Crockett's, they have some kids, and like they do rich people things like play croquet and like fucking drink brandy and judge people. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, it's just, they feel very aloof. I wouldn't want to have a cookout at those people's house. Like, even the children were kind of stifled.
Yeah.
They couldn't enjoy themselves. They were expected to act a certain way, you know. I know that lots of parents expect their children to act a certain way, but they couldn't even really play without people saying something to them.
Yeah. And right away, when Pickett comes back with Karen and the other dude, Clint, they give him towels or whatever, they change. And the patriarch, Jason, who's an older man, he's wheelchair bound, like I said, he like grills Pickett about like what he's doing, because it's like, he's like, why were you in our private lake?
Yeah.
You know, what were you doing? And Pickett explains, he's like, well, I'm a wildlife photographer. You know, I was just doing my job. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, well, if you're such an expert on wildlife, maybe you can explain why these fucking frogs won't shut up. And so that's like the main thing that's driving this family crazy, is that there's like hundreds of frogs all around the property.
Yeah.
And they're all croaking and being noisy.
Well, frogs.
So
they say they're frogs.
Hands down, the funniest part of this movie is that there are no frogs in it.
No. Well, there's one.
There's like one frog.
That we saw, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think we see it. I think it's just like stock footage, because I don't think we see it.
I think we see it like twice, and it's the same frog both times, like the same image of the frog.
Yeah, it's like stock footage. All of the frogs, quote unquote, in this movie are American toads.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if frogs were not easy to find in the 1970s. I don't know. I grew up in the 70s. I caught myself a lot of frogs.
Or toads were just more numerous.
So yes, frogs. Tons of frogs. No, not any toads, but we'll go with it. It's called frogs.
Yeah. So slowly, bit by bit, as this movie unravels, people just start being killed off by wildlife. And notably, not by frogs.
No.
There's like tokay geckos and alligators.
Butterflies lead one to her death.
There's tarantulas.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, people start dying. The first person to die is this guy named Grover. Jason sends Grover to get rid of the frogs. And he tells Pickett this because, you know, he's like, why, you know, you're such a fucking expert. Why don't you kill all these frogs, whatever. And Pickett's like, usually if there's a population problem like this, there's a bigger issue. He's like, I found a bunch of trash on your property, sir. So maybe that's part of the issue, you know, kind of being bitchy about it. Because he appreciates wildlife. He photographs it. So he's not the man to ask to, you know, do dirty work. But the man's missing, right? Grover's missing. So Jason is like, maybe you can go look for him. And Pickett's like, yeah, I guess. Because their phone isn't working, so he can't dial out to... Does he ever explain who he's trying to dial out to? Because, I mean, later on, it's to the cops, right?
Yeah.
But, like,
I don't think he does. I don't remember.
There's lots of plot holes in this movie because there's no reason why he has to use the phone. I don't think, because it's like, yeah, his canoe tipped over, but it's not like it was destroyed by the speedboat. He should have been able to just take the canoe back to wherever he parked his vehicle and left.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
No, he literally just starts hanging out with his family. They invite him to stay at their house for their celebration. I just find it... I mean, I think because the one woman thought he was attractive, so she was trying to hit on him. Yeah, but weird.
Yeah, Karen was real sweet on him, and she was very pretty.
She was. So I just read here that they had 500 Florida frogs and 100 South American king toads that they purchased to use in this movie.
Dude, I'm sorry. There were no frogs.
No,
They were
weren't.
all toads. They were all cane toads. Listen, I'm not telling you to put yourself through this movie, but like put yourself through 20 minutes of this movie and tell me if you spot a singular frog. What kind of frog?
This was Florida frogs. It just says 500 Florida frogs. Are Florida frogs different than regular frogs?
Well, they're from Florida.
I don't know. So Michigan has Michigan frogs? I don't know. I guess I don't know my frogs, but frogs are frogs to me. And toads are toads, and all I saw were toads, except for in the few flashing scenes where they were showing a bunch of them, and there was one frog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they did not use live birds either, because they couldn't afford them.
They couldn't afford them.
No. No, they said in the one scene where the birds attack.
Yeah, the golden eagles, allegedly.
Yes, they used stock footage of flying birds and superimposed it over the people running.
Wow.
So, interesting fact that I just happened to pop up when I was looking on the internet.
I can't believe this movie didn't get Hollywood funding. It deserved it, you know?
Yeah.
So...
The dialogue was so bad.
So Pickett actually does go out and finds Grover, and Grover is dead. He's covered in snake bites. And he's not even that far from the house. And, like, there's a bunch of, like, chemicals and stuff like that. And Pickett is, like, he goes back. He takes this guy's Jeep. He goes back.
Just, like...
He tells Jason, like, hey, yep, there is totally a dead body there. And Jason's like, well, don't tell anybody. It'll ruin the celebration.
Yeah, he was really, like, animate about having this celebration. It was weird.
It was the 4th of July, like we said, and it was Jason's birthday. It might have been some other people's birthdays too, but like he was just like, nothing's ruining my birthday.
Yeah, he was all by himself.
And they were like, there was lots of patriotic like decorations and stuff. They were playing patriotic music on the record machine. Terrible. So Pickett's kind of not okay with not telling people, but I guess he just lets it go because he can't call the police because the phone lines are down.
Yes.
Conveniently. It was the frogs.
The frogs were the masterminds of all of this. Is
Yeah.
the way they're kind of making it look.
Yeah.
I mean the toads. Because there were no frogs.
So they kind of blame the phone being out on a down power line. So one of the Picketts, his name is Michael, he actually goes to look for a downed power line. And while he's out, he starts hunting something. I can't remember what it was. This like rich white boy was like, I'm gonna use this gun and shoot something. And he ends up shooting himself. So he does shoot something. But then this Spanish moss comes to life and like strangles him, and it's full of tarantulas, and they bite him to death. Which, couple things. Becky, can you look up if tarantulas are fucking native to Florida?
Yeah, I'm on it. Yep.
Because I'm pretty sure they're a dry desert arachnid and not a wet, swampy arachnid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, my brother lives in Alabama, and they have a lot of orb weavers and banana spiders. Do that? Wait,
Yes,
do they?
there are tarantulas in Florida, including the red rump tarantula.
All right, the red rump and...
The red rump and the pine rockland trapdoor spider. This is a rare venomous tarantula-like spider, which was discovered, not back then, it was discovered in 2012 by a zookeeper.
Oh, okay.
In Miami. And the other one, the red rump, was discovered in 96 in South Florida. So I'm assuming that probably no.
I wonder if they're invasive.
It says the tarantulas in Florida today are not native to the area. So probably in 72 when this movie was filmed and released, no.
Huh, okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So technically I was right, but also kind of wrong. So tarantulas like can't bite through human skin. That's a really common misconception. They're big. That's what makes them scary. They're big and they're fuzzy. And so I understand why they were used, but there's no way tarantulas could have bit this man to death.
Really? They can't bite through human skin? Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
Like, for real?
Like they're too nubby.
Really?
Google it right now.
I am.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not trying to tell you you're wrong, but...
I like being wrong. I mean, I wouldn't like being wrong about...
tarantulas can bite humans, and their bite can cause pain, swelling, or redness, similar to a bee's sting. It may also itch, and the itching can last for weeks. In rare cases, tarantula bites can cause anaphylaxis.
Okay, so they can only kill you if you're allergic. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I heard a long time ago that if you're allergic to bees, the tarantula bites, you may be allergic to them as well.
Well, you better watch out, Becky.
Yeah, I know. See why I don't like spiders? And they'll eat my face. I'm telling you. I know they will. That's why all spiders, sorry people, must die. Don't look at me like that.
All right, whatever. We're moving on.
Terrifying spiders.
Okay, so back at the house, they send Ken, who is with the beautiful black lady Bella. She sends him out to their greenhouse to collect flowers for a centerpiece. So you're kind of picking up on the theme here. Like, they send people off to do something and then they die. Okay, so Ken goes into the greenhouse. And as he's collecting flowers, there's like these hilarious bottles that are labeled like poison and stuff like that.
Yeah, literally labeled like poison.
Or toxic or whatever.
Yeah, something.
And a bunch of geckos, and they're specifically tokay geckos. And I thought they were monitor lizards, but Wikipedia told me that they're actually tegus, which I don't know what the difference is.
They're creepy too.
But they come into the greenhouse and they knock over all the poison, and it causes toxic gas to asphyxiate.
And this greenhouse was it's like a small one,
Yeah.
you know, like you've seen in other movies, maybe 8x10 or something.
Yeah.
And he can't escape. He's overcome immediately and just dies.
And so Bella immediately kind of notices that he's missing, and she's freaking out about the other people not showing up. Other members of the family are suspicious because Pickett brought back that man's Jeep without the man.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, it's all kind of starting to unravel, and when they find his body in the greenhouse, that's when it really kind of, everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? Pickett again reiterates, like, hey, we should probably get off the island, which is funny to me because I don't know if at this point Pickett was making the connection between, like, wildlife just starting to lash out against this fucking family of rich people. Yeah, but he's just like, I don't know, I feel like we should leave or call the cops or something. And again, Jason is like, nothing's gonna ruin my birthday. I'm like, 85. Birthdays are important to me.
Yeah. He doesn't care that people are just dropping dead, or not dropping dead, but people are being killed left and right, and he's just like, nothing's going to ruin this weekend.
Like, it sucks to be them that they died, but it's my birthday.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't even care, and they're family members. He's just, whatever.
So then...
And this all happens pretty quickly, because this movie is only 90 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it's only an hour and a half. So people are being attacked by all sorts of creatures and dying quickly.
So Iris, who had originally sent Ken into the greenhouse to get the centerpiece, she wants to take, I don't know if she wants to take pictures or she wants to catch, because she has a butterfly net.
Yes.
She wants to catch every butterfly that she can. So she chases fucking butterflies into...
Like swamp. Like she is downright in the Florida Everglades swamps.
Yeah.
Going over brush and everything, chasing a butterfly.
Yeah.
She's kind of a crazy woman.
And so you're just following Iris as she chases these butterflies. And then she comes across, there's like snakes, and that freaks her out. And then there's baby alligators, which freaks her out.
Yeah, because they're hissing.
Yeah. Which... baby alligators stay with their mothers for a time. I don't know how long, but if you see baby alligators, chances are mama alligator's not that far behind. So I understand her being freaked out by that. But she, like, panics, and she is tripping through the brush, and, like, every other scene she has, like, a new gash on her, and, like, her dress is torn, and, whatever.
She's being very dramatic about it. Every time she cuts herself or...
Yeah.
Trips over something.
Well, eventually she trips into a puddle, and the puddle is filled with leeches, which...
That freaks me out. I hate leeches.
Yeah, they're... Bleh, 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 bleh. Yeah, I have a real ick when it comes to leeches. I don't know what it is. I think it's just anything that... Leeches and ticks are two things that I never want on me. I mean, nobody wants I mean, maybe some people want. Listen, you don't know what people are into.
I think in that instance, I'm going to judge. Ew.
Yeah,
But I guess, whatever. You got to do what you got to do. Have you ever had a leech on you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it.
My grandparents lived on a lake. And so sometimes when we would go in swimming, I can remember they'd get between our toes. They weren't the great big ones, but they were little ones. So they would get between your toe.
They would
and you'd take them off. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I remember. Like, it freaked me out. Like, I looked down and saw it and started to cry. I was young. I was really little. I was younger than 10. I started to scream, and my mom plucked it off me, and it was blood everywhere. And that's, yeah. Nope. And if you've ever watched the movie Stand By Me, shout out. That's my favorite movie in the whole world. We may have to cover that. It's not really a horror thing, but
it's Stephen King.
It is Stephen King, and there's some good elements in there. But there's a scene with leeches in that, too.
No! Ugh, I hate them. So she eventually gets out of the pond, and she's pulling all the leeches off her, you know. And she, like, collapses because she's exhausted or whatever, and then a snake bites her, and she dies. And her husband actually comes to look for her, but he falls into, like, a mud pit, and he's eaten by a bunch of alligators. So it's just disaster after disaster.
It is. It's one person after another.
And one thing that was funny, kind of tragic in that aspect was Iris and her husband passed very close to each other. Like, they just missed each other when he was looking for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they both died horribly. We're talking alligator death roll happened.
Yeah. Yeah. He tried to fight. Didn't work real well for him.
No. Again, like, everybody's going missing, so Pickett is like, we just need to leave. And Ken, who died in the greenhouse, his girlfriend Bella is like, yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. There's a scene actually where they were gonna come to dinner, and there was like a snake hanging from a chandelier.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah.
That's when they pulled the gun out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jason pulled the gun out from like he had like a side piece in his wheelchair, and he shot the snake. And then he was just like, to his servants, was just like, clean this up. It's time for dinner. So Pickett's like, everybody needs to leave. Bella agrees, and so do actually the servants. This is when Jason, I feel like this is where it got close to the racism was peeking through a little bit, because he's like, after everything I've done for you guys, you're gonna leave? Like, who's gonna fix me dinner?
Yeah.
On my birthday?
He didn't care that everyone was dying. He just was so selfish. And I think that was the whole point of his character, was to show this selfish man who wasn't taking care of the island and was very self-absorbed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, I'd have punched him. Knocked him right out of his wheelchair. That's what I'd have done.
So Clint takes them across the lake in his speedboat. And this is when the flock of golden eagles appear and attacks everyone, and they have to run away. Clint, when he gets back to his boat is not moored anymore, so he tries to swim after it, but there's some type of water snake that bites him to death in the water.
And they notice when they get onto the mainland or whatever, that there's nobody at the little store there.
Yeah, because there's a place to buy boat gas.
And nobody's there. So it's kind of deserted.
Yeah. Now, Wikipedia calls the snake that tries to bite him to death a cottonmouth, but I thought it was just like a water snake.
Well, it looked like a water snake, but cottonmouths do swim in water, and they are very poisonous.
Venomous.
They are very venomous. Sorry.
So the lake isn't that far across. His wife, Clint's wife Jenny, actually watches him try to swim to his boat and notices when he doesn't resurface, and she gets into the water and is screaming for him. I guess was going to try to rescue him, but then she gets mauled to death by an alligator snapping turtle, which was fucked up.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was the one death in the movie that actually really kind of bothered me, because snapping turtles can really take chunks out of you. So
for sure.
I was 100% okay, I guess this could happen. I doubt I don't know. Has there been any humans killed by alligator snapping turtles? Let's look it up.
As of May 27th, 2024, there are no reported human deaths caused by alligator snapping turtles. Although they can bite off fingers or toes in rare cases, these turtles are generally not known to attack people. In fact, they are generally defensive and try to avoid confrontation.
Well, every time I've ever seen a snapping turtle on the internet, it has always been squaring up, ready to ruin someone's life. So I don't know if I believe that. So this is when, like, okay, so basically everyone is dead except the Jenny and Clint's kids, a girl and a boy. And Karen and Pickett are still alive, and Jason's still alive. So Pickett is like, we're leaving. And they take the kids, and Jason refuses to join them. He's like, you can just leave me here. I'll celebrate my birthday by myself.
Yeah, and doesn't at one point Pickett say, we're at war here. We need to do something or we're going to die.
Yeah.
So he realizes that apparently the animals are just going to kill them all.
Yeah, and like there are a couple points in the movie where you see toads like jumping into the glass doors all around the mansion and stuff. Our dog. So they do leave. They take Pickett's canoe. They do encounter various animals trying to kill them, including alligators and snakes and stuff, but Pickett dispatches them very sexily with his boat paddle. He takes his shirt off. I just remembered that. I had to include it. Sorry. He does take his shirt off, though. It's really nice. And then
Sam Elliott. Mm-hmm.
They do make it to the shore, and they find Olive, Bella, and the other mansion servants, Charles and Mabel. He finds all their belongings. They're all bloody. So you assume that they died too, which depresses me because they were like,
we need to get out of here.
Yeah. And they actually reach the road, and they get picked up by this woman and her boy. And it's just this shirtless man with a shotgun and a boat paddle.
Yeah, he's literally standing in the road with a shotgun. And she's like, do you need help?
Like, can I give you a ride? You know? Something.
I'm not stopping for a shirtless man. Well,
it is Sam Elliott.
It is Sam Elliott. But I'm not stopping for a shirtless man holding a shotgun and offering to let him in my car.
Well, what's funny is he's like, yes, ma'am, we do need a ride. He's all very polite about it or whatever. So there's these 4 traumatized people, 2 of them children. And then the kid turns around once they're all buckled in and start going down the road. He's like, check out this giant frog I found at my summer camp. And it's just a big toad.
Yeah. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So you would have thought that there might have been a frogs too. But thank God there was not. At least that I know of. I haven't even checked.
Technically, that's not how the movie ended.
Did it go further?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Because Jason is back at the...
That's right. I'm sorry. That is not. Keegan, edit that out. Just edit that whole part out.
No, don't edit it out. It's funnier that she's wrong. No.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll remember that when Sydney is wrong.
I am always wrong, constantly. So, Jason is, he's got his whiskey and he's got his dog. Beautiful Irish setter.
Beautiful dog.
And he keeps telling her to shut up.
Yeah, he's super mean to her.
Because she's whining because she's freaking out because there's frogs everywhere.
Everywhere. They're like beating on the window.
Yeah,
literally.
they break the window. They get inside. They're like swarming all over all of his stuff. And it shows like all of his hunting trophies and stuff, like antelopes. And I think there's like a lion and
probably an elk
deer
or something.
And bear
yeah.
and, all the standard stuff. But there's some, safari animals up there too. And he, I guess, dies from shock. Like, I don't remember anything biting him, but he just falls over in his, like, off the wheelchair and, like...
Maybe the frogs are venomous and we just didn't know it.
I don't know, but either way...
Yeah.
He collapses and he dies, and every light in the mansion goes out very dramatically.
Yes, that's right.
And the credits roll, and then there's an animated frog that eats a human hand. Right at the end.
So dumb.
And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
So this movie is really terrible.
It's not a good movie.
It's like you hear about like B movies and stuff. This is like a D movie.
Yeah. And there's a reason why we chose to watch this horrible movie.
Yes. So when we were looking for taglines for our podcast, because Becky was like, well, Morbid has one.
Shout out to Morbid. I love those girls.
Yeah, Morbid's great. So I was like, oh, yeah, we can look for something. And we, looked on and off, whatever. And I'm like, I'm just going to look up horror movie taglines because it'd be cool if we could find, do, a pun on something or whatever. And, one of the theatrical release posters of Frogs, the tagline was, today the pond, tomorrow the world. So I was like, we should do today the pod, tomorrow the world.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It suits us 100% perfectly.
So we knew that we had to give this movie some attention because we do owe our awesome tagline to it.
We did not, however, know that the movie sucked.
I assumed it did have 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I didn't think it would be that good.
And we did not know that Sam Elliott was in it until I looked it up that night that Sydney picked our tagline. I looked it up on YouTube and was like, Sam Elliott's in it? And then it took me a minute to figure out who he was because I've only known Sam Elliott with his, gray hair and his sexy silver fox look. So, yeah, that was an added bonus.
Yeah.
Seeing young Sam Elliott.
And it was a good time to watch. We were making fun of stuff.
Yeah.
And
if you want some entertainment, it is funny. It's really cheesy and Sam Elliott's in it. I'm just gonna keep saying Sam Elliott apparently, because yeah.
Look up. Do yourself a favor. Look up shirtless young Sam Elliott and just thank me later.
And you can watch Frogs on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah.
And available. So,
and,
so not my favorite, but we watched it.
Yeah.
It was interesting. The toads were toads. I still, if you watch it and you see a bunch of frogs that we didn't see, let us know because
I didn't see any. They all looked like just standard toads, like the toads we have here in Michigan. So I was like, huh, there's no frogs in this frog movie. It's kind of strange.
Yes.
That's it for Frogs.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, let us know what you think. Funny thing, we were looking over our analytics, and all of our listeners are women. Shout out to us girls.
Girl power.
Yeah. 100% of our listeners. Also, I noticed, Facebook people, if you're listening, which none of you are, because we have 24 listeners on Spotify. We have 70 followers on Facebook. You are disappointing me. I'm disappointed.
Share, listen, like.
Yes.
The more people that do, the more our name will get out there. And that's just, even though it's just a hobby for us, which I do apologize for the hiatus that we took here for a few weeks. We had some things going on. Sydney was sick and then work was crazy. And
yeah,
I think we're all back in the groove of things. And we should be back to hopefully getting things out regularly again.
Yeah. I think we've talked about some other things that we want to do in the future. Becky is checked out a new podcast called Hello Sydney.
Yes, which I heard about listening to Morbid. They suggested her, and
there's been some spooky stuff there, so we might, talk about some of our episodes, or we might talk about some of the subjects of our episodes, depending. We also do want to hit some spooky places. There's some conventions/fairs coming up that we're going to be visiting, and
with it being summer, there's a lot of places in Michigan that are said to be haunted and creepy and things like that. So
now that the weather's nicer,
we'll
try to hit some of those places up some weekends.
Sure.
So we do have lots more planned. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Sydney Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Snow.
And we're the Becks. But don't forget, today the pod, tomorrow the world.